Rhubarb is in season here in southern East South Dakota. So in this episode we're going to be making rhubarb pie on Black Hills and Eastern Railroad.
So we're going to pick rhubarb from a terrace formed by a pair of Versalock retaining walls here we have on property. I'll show you those later. But we're going to go ahead and get started. We've already gotten a couple of pies off of this patch already this season, and we're going to get some more today. Get shots of me cutting the stalk. So I'm just going to cut the stalk as close to the ground here as I can without trying to get anybody else. And I'm going to get the biggest stalks here primarily. And if I have a choice, I'm going to take the red ones, but so we're only going to cook the stalks. The leaves contain a compound that has a toxin in it that'll make you sick. So we don't eat the leaves. We use the leaves for mulch on the garden, keeping weeds down. So today we're making 3 pies, but we'll give you just the measurements for 1 pie. So Ada's going to put in a 1/3 cup of flour. So we've actually got a whole cup here we're putting in. This serves to solidify the pie a little bit as it bakes. Now we've got a cup and a 1/4 of sugar, and this is actually 3 3/4 cups of sugar. You need that much to make this stuff taste good. And then ordinarily we'd put in for just 1 pie, 1 egg, but Ada's got 3 eggs here. Then when she gets done putting those in, she'll take a wood spoon and mix this all together and set it aside, and it'll start making custardy goodness while we prepare the pie shells. So 1 pie crust from scratch is 2 cups of all-purpose flour, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 cup of shortening, and a 1/2 cup of cold water. In this case, our favorite method is to refrigerate this for a couple of hours before we roll it out. That makes things a lot easier. And then also, you see here, we're rolling it out on a piece of wax paper. That makes things a lot easier. We'll transfer that to the pie plate and then peel the wax paper off and move on to the next pie. So I'm transferring the pie crust into the pie plate. And don't worry if it's a little hard to work. This stuff is pretty forgiving. And this pie will be far from perfect, but you know what? It'll still be as delicious as it would be otherwise. So approximately 45 minutes have passed now while we've been rolling out these pie crusts, and you can see that the rhubarb has continued to off juice, and Ada's giving one last stir before we ladle the contents, these 15 cups of rhubarb, into these pie shells. So these pies all need hats, and Ada's rolling out the top crust here for the second of 3 pies. That crust recipe that I described earlier is pretty generous, and what we ended up doing is stretched recipe for, actually I doubled the recipe and we got 3 pies out of it instead of 2. So now we have the Traeger preheated to 375, and we're going to put pie savers on. I got these silicone pie savers at a restaurant supply store a few years ago, and man, are they a lifesaver. I've mentioned in the past that the Traeger is basically our outdoor oven during the summertime, and we use it pretty much interchangeably with the oven during the summer months when we'd rather not have the heat in the house, and that's what we're doing today. We're going to bake these pies at 375 for 30 minutes and then take those pie savers off.
Here's our finished product. They've been cooking for about an hour on the Traeger. Check out the description below for the recipe. We're going to pull the pin now, so make sure to like, subscribe, make sure to comment, and we'll see you in the next one.